Hi, Shannon Rowe Jackson here from Caution Artists at Play, and today I am going to be doing something a little different, just something a little relaxing. I am going to be coloring in an adult coloring book. Just for transparency reasons, ColorIt did send me this coloring book to try out. They are not paying me for this review. This is just going to be my honest review of their product, but I thought it would be kind of fun. I don't know if I've ever done a coloring book on the channel before, but I do like to use coloring books from time to time when I want to relax and do something kind of creative, but not go elbows deep into a whole project. And I do that quite often in my spare time, and I have a few coloring books that I love, but this will be my first time trying one of theirs, so I'm pretty excited about it. I haven't even opened it yet. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh. Ooh. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Delightful desserts and sweet treats. 50 original hand-drawn designs, adult coloring book. So this is really cool that they use hand-drawn designs by various artists. I believe on their website it lists the artists who do their coloring book designs. Because I think when I was looking at the listing it said the artist's name. So I'm going to just open this up and see. Look how thick that is. And I think it's fun because I have a major sweet tooth. Okay, right in here it tells us who illustrated it. Illustrated, I'm not going to be able to do that name properly, Jackie Lou Parisia and Patrick McCoy, and edited by Zen Limpicog. Yeah, I'm not feeling too great today. I'm actually home because I have been feeling under the weather. So I figured this would be a great time to try out my coloring book because I can't really work on my regular artwork and I need to relax. So at some point I'm going to be switching this to voiceover, but I wanted to give you my first impressions. And everything's fine. It's nothing serious. I think it's not the C word or anything like that. So don't worry about me. I'll be fine in a day or so. Look at these. Oh, these are so fun. And the paper feels nice and thick. It looks like the corners might have gotten a little smushed up during shipping, which obviously is, hard for them to control. But this feels like a nice cardstock. I'm going to use colored pencil. Hopefully it will take a lot of layers. But look at these designs. And there's some Christmassy ones too. And Christmas at the time of me filming this is next week. So I'm liking this. Look how many different designs there are. And I like the fact that it isn't back to back, because if for some reason you really like the way it comes out, like you don't have to worry about if you use, well, I don't have any markers down here with me, so I won't be able to test how markers do on them this time. But actually I do have a black marker. I could probably check and see if it goes through. But I like that it's not back to back. So if you like each one that you do and you want to tear it out, it is perforated, it looks like. So that's really good. And then you don't have to worry about one being on the other side. So I really like that aspect of it. And it's neat that it's, the wire is up here. I love that because I'm a lefty. And when there's a book binding, it's kind of hard to get in there as a lefty sometimes. So I love that. All right. So this is really cool. I will link their website in the description below so you can see more about it. And yeah, let's get to coloring. Wow, that's awesome. So I am testing out some marker on here. This is a Pitt pen. It's a black Pitt pen, which is India ink, water-based. Because I only use water-based pens because they're light fast, but look at that. It's not even coming through this paper. I don't know if alcohol markers would be the same. I don't have any of my alcohol markers down here with me, so I don't know for sure if alcohol markers would show through. But I gotta tell you, I'm enjoying the way this is blending for I don't know what they're using for paper, but I really am enjoying how that's blending out for a water-based marker. So that's kind of amazing. like, it's not even showing through. I would be able to use my Pitt pens in this coloring book. So that's exciting to know. So let me try, this is a silver one. I just want to be able to see blendability a little bit better. I don't have, as I keep saying, down here, like I don't have a lot of materials down here. When I say that, I mean I don't have them readily available in my living room. They're in my studio. My studio is actually in a separate space from this, and it's snowing out, so I'm not going out. But I just wanted to see. These really aren't eating up the paper too bad for water-based markers. Again, I can't tell you about alcohol-based because they're out in my studio, and I don't have them with me. But I gotta tell you, if it's doing well for water-based, there's a very good chance that it'll do pretty well for alcohol-based, because alcohol-based tends to blend out a little bit more easily and doesn't seem to eat up paper as much. I don't know about show-through, but this is some pretty thick paper, and the water-based isn't really sinking through, so hopefully the alcohol markers would not. If you have ever tried a ColorIt coloring book, and you've tried it on this paper, please let me know in the comments if you've tried alcohol markers on their coloring books and how well they work. I have a feeling they would work really well. If it's taking the water-based marker, I have a feeling it would take alcohol-based markers really well. But okay, I'm going to find a design to do, and I will be using colored pencils for that. And yeah, so, I'm going to write this. Like, every page has something that you can color on it. I really love that, and it's really beautiful. Like, simple designs and yet detailed at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. But I'm really impressed with the paper so far. It is really smooth, so I don't know how much layers of colored pencil it's going to take. I'm probably going to use my Derwent Lightfast, which I don't normally use in coloring books, but they're the ones that I have down here right now because of a different project I'm working on. And so they're technically, they call them an oil-based, but they're really a good medium between oil and wax-based. They're definitely a lot waxier than most oil-based are, so it'll be interesting to see how the layers build up. Alright, I'm going to find a design, and I will probably switch to voiceover and time-lapse so that I can watch Christmas movies and really relax while I'm doing this. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, so future voiceover Shanna here. There's my cat. He wanted to see what was going on with the coloring book as well. That's Leo. He's a very curious boy. Anyway, so he had to make his appearance. As I mentioned, I am using colored pencil in this, and I am using some of my various Derwent colored pencils. Pro Color, I think I have some Derwent Lightfast, and some Derwent Drawing. These just happen to be the colored pencils I have downstairs. Normally, I use like my Blick or my less expensive colored pencils when I'm doing coloring book stuff, because I am basically just being experimental or just relaxing, and so I don't usually typically use my more expensive stuff. I save that for my art pieces that I plan to sell. However, colored pencils are colored pencils, and I wanted to see how the colored pencils worked in this particular coloring book, and these were the ones I had on hand. And it actually layered pretty well, surprisingly well, considering how smooth the paper is. I normally use paper that's not quite so smooth if I am doing a colored pencil piece, but for coloring book purposes, I think it works really well because it's a nice thick paper. It's very, I think it's like bristle board, really, is what it feels like to me. Cardstock or bristle board, and it definitely can hold up to multiple different kinds of media. And you'll see later on, I switch back to real time and I test out some watercolors, and you'll see how that goes later on as well. So the only thing is, there was one pencil that I had issues with, and I think it just might be the way that pencil is, the particular color. The one that I did the gingerbread man in did not want to get very saturated, so I think it might be the pencil itself. It's a Pro Color. It's a nice pencil. It's just, it may not do as well on smooth paper. But I was able to layer pretty well with the rest. I mean, I can't get a ton of layers, but then again, I'm not here trying to create a masterpiece, so I wouldn't be layering in the same way or using as many layers in a coloring book anyways. That's just how I personally work in a coloring book. Like, this is a safe place for me to relax and not have to worry about perfection. So I don't generally spend as much time in my coloring book as I would on a piece that I'm creating that I plan to sell or anything like that. So the layering didn't really bother me that much. That being said, I was able to get more layers than I expected on such a smooth paper. But I really had a lot of fun with it. And that's basically what this comes down to. The illustrations are beautiful. I love that they're hand-drawn. I've actually designed my own coloring book pages in the past and, you know, based off my own artwork. And I know what kind of goes into it and what can go into it, and there definitely was a lot of work and a lot of love put into this book by the illustrators, by the company itself. You can just tell, like, there was a lot of thought put into it. And I just love that. I love that it has that already handmade feeling to it. And a lot of coloring books out there are like that. I know that. But that's just something that I love about the coloring books that have been coming out. A lot of them are artist made. And it's just a great... it feels like a collaboration when you're coloring something that somebody else had originally hand drawn. And I just love that feeling. I chose this because it's almost Christmas time, so I chose a Christmas cookie thing. And of course, by the end of it, I was craving cookies like crazy because I have a major sweet tooth. And that's why this coloring book was so perfect for me. I don't accept free product from people unless it's something that I would genuinely be interested in to begin with. I'm not going to review something on my channel that I wouldn't normally like. Like, you know, if somebody had contacted me about, I don't know. I did have a company contact me about permanent markers that were like Sharpie knockoffs, and I'm like, I don't really use Sharpies to begin with, so I'm not, at least not for my art. So I'm like, I'm not the channel to review that stuff. This ended up being perfect because even though I hadn't really done any coloring book stuff on my channel before, I do enjoy coloring. And I have a major sweet tooth, and so it ended up working out perfect because that's who this is for. This is for somebody who likes to color and who has a sweet tooth. And so that was me. And I was looking at their website, and it looks like they also sell coloring books. Of course they sell coloring books. That's why we're here, folks. They also sell colored pencils and alcohol markers. So I would assume that this paper probably holds up pretty well, like I said, to alcohol markers. I can't find my alcohol markers right now. I know that there's some up in my studio, but I don't use them often enough, and I know I gave some away to my nephew. So, but they do sell their own alcohol markers on their website, and yeah, so I think that this is definitely made to be used with alcohol markers. I know a lot of people love to use alcohol markers in their coloring books, and I think that this paper would hold up well. Again, though, I haven't tested it, so I apologize for that, but I'm sure that people can comment below if they have. And later on, like I said, I do test watercolor, so you'll be able to see that. But as far as colored pencils go, I'm more of a colored pencil artist anyway. And so this is going to be my go-to in the coloring book. And I really definitely enjoyed it. I think that it really is pretty much what you can ask for in a coloring book. And so, I mean, what more could you ask for, you know? And I really, I know I mentioned this before, but I enjoy the fact that the wire binding is on the top because I was not banging my hand against anything. I was able to work on any part of the piece that I wanted to at any given time. And you do see me jumping around a lot because I'm like, ooh, this cookie looks fun to draw or color, and this cookie looks different. And so I kept jumping around a lot because there was just so much on this page that appealed to me. And even now I'm hungry looking at it. Like, I want those cookies. I would eat every single thing on this page except for the cutting board, of course. What is your favorite sweet treat? Comment below and let me know. It could be a Christmas treat or it could be any kind of treat. My favorite treat is brownies. Sorry, you probably hear my cat running back and forth. I love brownies, anything chocolate. Of course, I'm into the cookies. I just kind of love it all. My mom makes divinity with cherries in it. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that. Look it up. it melts in your mouth. That is my favorite Christmas treat, I think. She used to make it a lot around Christmas time growing up. And yeah, I just have fond memories of eating that. And it's like pure sugar. Pure sugar. But oh my lord, it tastes so good. But yeah, so I just tried some OMS, or odorless mineral spirits, to blend it out, and it did work on this paper. I didn't really have enough layers on that chocolate, but it still blended out pretty well. And I checked, and it did bleed through to the back side of this particular page, but it didn't seem to bleed through to the page below it. So even though I could see a little bit of staining on the back of this coloring book page from the OMS, at least it didn't leak through to the coloring book page below it and ruin that or cause any staining or anything like that. So that's something to note on this paper. And I'm sure the alcohol markers would be similar. Of course, if you're worried about bleed through, you can always put a piece of paper in between your pages so you don't have to worry about that. I'm sure most of you who do coloring books have done that in the past. I mean, it is what it is. Markers tend to bleed a lot. The water-based ones, obviously, as I mentioned before, haven't been, but if that's an issue with the markers, with the alcohol markers, then just put a page in between. Okay, switching back to regular time now. So I do have some watercolors down here. These are a few of my M-gram watercolors, and this is a water brush. I'm just going to reactivate it a little bit. Let me try a different page. Go back to that front page where I already did a little bit of that. It's a really sturdy book. I'm really enjoying it so far. So let's see. I'm not sure how much it would buckle doing a full page of watercolor, but I kind of want to see how it shows through. And this isn't terribly watered down because I'm just using my water brush. Let's see when I add more water and less pigment. The black doesn't seem to be smearing, so that's good. And it is curling a little on that edge. That's one reason why I chose an edge piece to do it to. But it goes down really nice on this paper. Let's see what the back looks like. Yeah, it's thick enough that it doesn't seem to be going through with light layers of watercolor. So if you want to speed up the process, definitely would be fun to just use watercolor, or from what I saw, some water-based markers work fine. Again, I'm not sure about alcohol-based markers because I don't have mine with me. But definitely would be fun to do a page with watercolor because it seems to hold up really well. And I think, I mean, it may buckle over time, but at the same time, once you close it in the book, it would probably flatten out again. And these are, you know, it's a coloring book, so have fun with it. Do different kinds of mediums if you want to. Try different things. One thing that I really like coloring books for is practicing to begin with. Like practicing techniques that I might want to try in my regular art. And I know a lot of people that got into colored pencil art and into drawing their own designs by starting out with adult coloring books. I've seen that a lot online. A lot of people who started with the adult coloring books because they've always been creative, but they weren't so sure how serious they wanted to be, or they wanted to dip their toes in using different mediums, and then they would start doing their own drawings and things like that. So it's similar to a sketchbook. It's a great place to experiment, especially with laying down color and blending and shading, where you don't have to worry about being responsible for the initial outline if you're somebody who is a little bit new to drawing and a little bit nervous about drawing a full piece yourself. And I gotta tell you, I'm really, really liking this particular coloring book. I'm so glad that I got the chance to try it. Thank you, ColorIt, for sending it to me. I definitely would recommend their coloring books. And look at this artwork. Like, this is just so much fun. So pretty. They have all kinds of different kinds of books. I went way out of the lines. Good thing I'm not teaching you how to color, huh? I will link them in the description so you can see the different designs and coloring books they have, but I'm really loving this. I definitely would recommend this coloring book. Absolutely. I'm really excited about the way the watercolor looks. This is probably how I should have done it. It took me forever to do my colored pencil one, which colored pencil does tend to take forever. But I'm betting this would be great, even with like Prang watercolors, which are a very inexpensive student, actually like children's grade watercolor. I think this would work really well on these if you don't want to use your expensive ones. I don't have mine down here, but wow, I keep going out of the lines. I swear I know how to paint. I swear I do. My hand's a little tired because I've been coloring most of the day. It's been nice though. And then build up in layers. Hope you're seeing this really well. Yeah, I'm a fan of this. Look how pretty that looks. And the paper seems to be holding up really well, even to multiple layers. Yeah. I'm gonna definitely do more in this in the future. It's a great way to relax, especially when you have a snow day or you're just not feeling well. So watercolor works really well in it. And my water-based markers seem to hold up really well. But yeah, I chose the piece that I did because I'm really happy, like I'm in the Christmas mood. Ow, if I can find it again. Ooh, there's another fun Christmas one. This one, I guess, is new this month. The month of December. So I think that that's really cool. Now, I do not recommend putting watercolor over colored pencil because technically it's not archival, so I wouldn't do this with my regular artwork, but see how it kind of bubbles up a bit because it's all waxy. And so this one's just regular water. This one's OMS. And OMS does work on it, but you definitely need a few more layers than what I put on here. It layered pretty well with a colored pencil, but it is a smooth paper, so it's not going to get as many layers as some some papers that are out there, but you're still able to blend with OMS, and they burnish well on this paper. I'm really pleased with this. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. It's kind of a laid back kind of theme this week. And I hope that you all have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, no matter what holiday you're celebrating this season. And yeah, thank you. I will see you next time. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Also, if you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, I'm on social media, so check out the links in the description below.